I still want to say something to CIG though, which is I want base building soon, right? And when we get those habs, they better have windows. There better be lots of windows. I don't want to be plopping down basically storage boxes with a door on them. I want windows.
Second that. Second that.
All right, let's not threaten CIG though. We have
I'm not threatening you. I didn't.
Oh, you better,
The thing is, though, now that you say that, I can't unsee it. You're absolutely right.
The reclaimer. Let's talk about that first, because I was going to go in a totally different direction.
You can make as much money as you need and work your way towards any ship in the game.
They were trying to cash in off of that nostalgia and that hype.
Open Comms Radio, a very, very special episode today. Thank you for joining me. I'm Jar Jar Jabroni, your weekly host on this Star Citizen call-in show. You can call in every week, Eastern Time, 9 p.m. What time do we do it? Pacific Time, 6 p.m. If you're in another part of the world, you got to figure out that yourself, because I don't know. I'm not a time wizard, as I usually say, but I do have some wizards with me today. Today's show is all about Windows. Windows, Windows, Windows. Who's talking about Windows? What's the big deal with Windows? I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm not so sure I fully understand it. But my co-host today, you know him, you love him, Duke Lato II, is quite enthusiastic. Duke, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm psyched. I'm psyched to talk about Windows.
Yeah, I know you are. You brought this topic forth many a time here on Open Comms.
Every chance I get, basically.
Every chance you get. Yeah, today's no different. So today is, well, in that regard, it's no different, but in one way it is different. We do have a very, very special guest with us today, Duke.
We do. I'm very excited to have this guy with us on the show today. You might know him from his YouTube videos, which are a mix of mainly just cinematics and then some where he does talk as well, but they're all gorgeous to watch. He does some really beautiful cinematics, and recently had one about Windows, which kind of brought up the idea of, hey, this poor guy should come and waste some of his time with us here on Open Comms. His name is Silent Archer on YouTube. That's SILENTRCHER. So no A in the middle there. Just Silent Archer. That makes him cooler, He's yeah. So yeah, why don't we bring Silent Archer up here and have him say hello?
Hey guys, thank you.
Welcome to Open Comms Radio. This week's question, you know it, you love it. Who mentioned Windows?
I suppose I did, right? I mean, I've always loved Windows, and everyone I've always played with, I've always geeked out about Windows, just like Duke here, I assume, right? So, I mean, it's just, I feel like everyone I love to play with love Windows, and so I love Windows, and it's just something that really immerses me into the game, unlike anything else. So, I mean, yeah, I guess that's the backstory, right? Like, Windows are great, and I hope we're here to talk about that today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, sorry, wrong show. Most of the wrong caller here. Let's get the other guy up. What made you publish that video that I talked about earlier, the Windows one?
I mean, I'll be honest, my dad also plays a bit of Star Citizen. And he's always geeked out about Windows, just like me. And we've, often discussed those kind of topics, right? We've discussed, what makes a ship great, what makes a space feel alive and kind of immersive. And Windows have been such a central part of that in those discussions. So, it felt quite natural to just one day I just sat down and wrote a bit about what I thought. And suddenly I had an entire text, and I was like, okay, I might as well make a video on it, right? Because I just love Windows, and well, I'm happy to say that other people also enjoyed it. So,
yeah, who knew?
Yeah, that's the backstory, right? Who knew? Who
Duke
knew?
saw that. He's like, you're not going to believe this. There's another guy talking about Windows.
There's two of us now.
There's two of us.
So if I may play devil's advocate, all right,
sure,
because I feel like I got two of you here. Let me just say, who cares? You're in a spaceship. Windows are a weak point. Why would I want these? And why would, the development team, why should they invest time in this?
I'm gonna let Archer speak before I jump on you.
I mean, okay, so I guess first off, like we have to be on the same ground here. Like in lore, windows are strong as steel, right? They're as strong as any part of the rest of the ship, right?
Stronger,
So
I believe.
they're stronger even, yeah, maybe.
Yep. They're just
Um,
super expensive.
yeah, they're super expensive, right? So I guess that's a valid point, that especially regarding cost, right? Like why would they waste their time having windows in a ship when you could just have cameras or that's what people mention at least, like, oh, why don't ships just have cameras and just have the hull, enclose the entire ship, like in the Esperia ships, right?
Are those,
Um,
yeah, they have the little
the ones with the canopies that kind of
Right,
have
the
the camera
Tavaran
things
ships.
flipping. Yeah, the Tavaran ships, exactly.
yeah,
My
yeah.
bad.
I have a theory about that too, but go ahead.
Right. Excited to hear that for sure. But yeah, I think why should they invest their time? I mean, I think it's just part of being, you know, human, right? We don't like being submerged. If you take submarines, for example, right? Like it's not like everybody loves being in a submarine. It's very claustrophobic. It's very unnatural for a human to be without natural light, to not see what's happening outside. And I feel like having windows in ships makes that it makes it feel so much more natural and so much more bearable if we're thinking, immersing ourselves in the Star Citizen universe, right?
Mhm.
um in a way that cameras doesn't, although I would have to think a bit more about the fact, why cameras aren't the same thing. I guess it doesn't let people look in, and there's for me there's
Mm,
an aspect in actually being able to look into a ship as well, from outside. I feel like the connection, like the actual physical connection of the light going through, the hull instead of just passing through sensors, it's part of the feeling, right? But I don't know if I
yeah.
can, I'd like to go deeper in that. Do you have any thoughts on that, Duke? Or sorry, Jar Jar?
You talked about looking in. It made me think of that scene at the beginning of Titan AE. If anyone remembers that show, that movie, but main character ends up stuck on the front windshield of a spaceship. When he looks in and he sees like a beautiful girl, and it's like, oh yeah, there's that whole connection. Like he's in outer space, but there's still that human element of looking in a window. It's just like Romeo and Juliet. Um,
Exactly.
yeah,
You
I
can see
like
it, but
that.
you can't get to it. You can't
Yeah,
touch it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
exactly.
right?
It gives it an otherworldly but still a natural and easily relatable experience.
Totally. You
Where
nailed it there, I think.
Whereas like the
Um,
so I was saying the Tavaran, right? So only the Tavaran ships are the only ones we've seen that have the um that video cockpit, right?
right?
And in my mind, that was because the Tavaran didn't have window technology.
Hmm.
Because the window material is pretty advanced when you think about it.
That's
And
true.
no,
Dude,
Yeah.
this is
no,
the
really.
most this sounds so
It's
ridiculous.
but it makes sense in lore because the Tavaran were stuck in their system. They had no
Interesting.
wormhole travel until the humans discovered them.
Interesting.
And so they had a lot of unique technologies, including the shield technology, which we got from them. So it makes sense we had one they didn't, which was just these super strong windows. Because when you think about it, if you have these super strong windows, you can always look out. Even when your ship dies and nothing's working, you can still look out the
Yeah,
window. Whereas in
for sure.
Tavaran ships, when the power's out, that's it. You can't see anything.
Very true. So there's that practical aspect as well, for sure. Not
Yeah.
having to rely on power is a big thing, right?
Still
Especially in
there,
the
Jar Jar.
cockpit. Especially in the cockpit. You
Yeah.
know,
Especially with engineering now. You got engineering. We
truly,
got
that's
lots
so
of
true.
extra health bars, and I don't
So
want a health
true.
bar for my camera window.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Is that a
No,
is that
that's
a
such a
dig
good
at
point.
Misk?
Oh, never. I would never take a dig at Misk. I love Misk.
No, yeah, dude, I'd be because I don't know if you know this, Archer. Duke's a big Misk guy, so
Man.
I can
he's
understand that.
he's worked his way
Which,
up through all the Misk ships.
yeah.
Interesting, yeah.
And the Star
Uh,
Lancer makes me furious because it needs so many more windows.
hmm. I understand. Damn, yeah. I guess I was just grateful to get any windows on it.
Any windows are
Maybe I was.
good.
Any windows are good. I mean, I'm just so starved of it, of windows that just any like
Yeah.
I was surprised that it even got two, you know. And to discover it had those in the roof as well. I guess you've seen those
Mm,
maybe
yeah.
in the habitation area. But yeah, I mean, truly.
You've got these long corridors, and there's just
Mm,
no window, and I'm like, "Why?" I could be anywhere. I could be
that's
underground,
true. Are you thinking
you
about
know?
the habitation area, like where you walk,
Yeah.
like, or
Yep.
yeah, that's central. That's true, actually. That's
A
true. I wonder how they. Yeah.
and it makes me think, actually, your other video, another one I watched recently was the "Is Levski the next Port Olisar?"
Right. Yeah.
Um, and you did kind of a good dive into what makes Levski a good point of interest and why some
Hmm.
of the other space stations don't work. And I think it
Yeah.
all goes back to this disconnect, right? In
Yeah.
Levski, like you can look out windows, you can see places, you can go to those places, and from the outside, you can also look in like the scope of it all works. It feels natural, whereas the space stations, because it's a mix of these beautiful stations and the old, what did they call that? Where they were gonna, like, randomize the inside of the stations and,
A
um
proc gen, procedural generation.
yeah,
Oh.
they were, it was
Yeah.
all gonna be that. So now we've got these
Yeah.
procedural generated internals,
Yeah.
and other than one window, it's like, I don't see how this fits in this
Yeah.
big, beautiful
Yeah.
station.
Yeah. How is there one window? Like literally one window. It's crazy. I mean, Pyro does a better job at this as well, I think. Those
Mhm.
stations have quite a lot of windows. Maybe that's just 'cause they're broken, like, in lore. Um,
Well,
but
the
yeah, I
windows are
mean,
the only parts that aren't broken.
oh,
Right,
right.
because they're strong.
The rest of the station's shambles,
Right.
but the
The rest is
windows are
just
still
windows
intact.
floating in there. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, but I love that as well. It's that disconnect for sure. And I'm surprised, it feels it's just such a shame that all the stations are so procedurally generated. I mean, it's a big part of them feeling so dead and uninteresting.
Yeah,
For sure.
Well, I think right
and
now are they're not proc gen so much now. They're they're just using the same assets and they just have
Yeah.
so limited
right.
assets. I think
Yeah,
the clutter
exactly.
and stuff maybe. I don't know what their like development process is with that. But I did notice, like in the past, a lot more ships had windows, especially a lot of the Origin ships. I feel you had
True.
the 300 series is like the whole top of it is like a big sunroof, I guess, star roof
Yeah.
you could call it. Um, and that was one of the first ships that like I upgraded to, and when I got in there, I was like, "Oh, this is so cool!" Because I can just like float out, sit here, you know, engage in whatever activities I want to engage in, and just sit and look at the view, the
Yeah,
beautiful view of all these beautiful planets that they're developing. And it's a shame that
Yeah.
I think you spend, if you're a crewmate of someone else, that you're spending so much time in these people's ships, but like you're jumping and you're flying, and in many of these
but you
ships you
don't
just
see any of
can't
it.
engage with that. Yeah. And
Yeah,
it's like, well, why are you making all this beautiful world if half the time players aren't gonna be able to look at it?
absolutely.
Truly. I mean, it's a shame, Um, and some manufacturers just never have received a single window. For instance, like um, Crusader, none of their ships have windows. Literally, not a single ship has a window.
Really?
And it's such a shame. Like the MSR, for instance, really could use a window. Like, why doesn't the MSR have a window? It feels so claustrophobic. It's like you have to get through like 10 doors to get to the cockpit, which is the only place where you can look out of the ship,
I'm,
And I
like,
find
looking this
that
up right now to
extremely
confirm.
weird.
And you're
Well,
right, I'm look yeah, nothing.
now you can leave the doors open at least.
Okay, that's fine.
Makeshift window.
Makeshift window, exactly. Just like,
So we do have a quick question in the chat from Ravenfort42. Ravenfort, and this is maybe for you, Silent. Do you
all right.
think the 600i rework will get more windows?
So the 600i has that big window in the back, and then kind of the front cockpit window. That makes two windows, right? There's not more that I can think of, at least. I
If we
guess
count the cockpit as a window.
in the touring version, it also has that ground window in the floor.
Which makes it in,
I
like, the
think,
top 10% of ships and Star Citizen with Windows, which is
right.
sad.
That's so cool, right? Yeah, it's super. Yeah, right. That also, yeah, super I mean, it has a lot of window area, right? It has very big windows, but not a lot of them, I suppose. Like there's 3, 4 main windows, but then there's just kind of none throughout the rest of the ship, right? I wonder, yeah, it feels like it could be possible that it got more windows. I just don't see how that would work with the silhouette of the ship, because I feel like they're gonna maintain, like, the glass parts of the ship are very iconic. Um, and I'm finding it hard to imagine if it would receive more windows, like on the sides or anything. I don't know what you guys think, but I feel like that would be unlikely. Maybe a bit more window area, but not more windows per se.
Well, I think if they did do the windows, they would have to address the exterior of the ship. And I
Yeah,
have a
exactly.
feeling like they're not going to do that.
That's what. Yeah,
They're just going to do the
exactly.
interior rework, because that would basically be like making a new ship, or at least making a
It would
variant of
be.
a ship.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, it would be a lot of work. Like as I said, the window parts of the exterior are very iconic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it feels
Well, I
like,
think there's a middle ground here as well. Like when you think of the closest things we have to spaceships, obviously, boats or airplanes.
yeah,
The window doesn't have to be something like huge, spanning the whole side of
no,
the room. There's portholes,
true.
um, which I think would be sort of an interesting concept with the 600i or the 890,
Mm,
because they have something a lot of other ships don't, which is a crew that's supposed to be mostly invisible, right?
fair
They
enough.
have a
Yeah,
you have a service crew on these
Yeah.
yeah.
luxury ships, and it's like,
Mm.
give them a little porthole or something, just a little window so they can sit there and contemplate their
Give the
life
peasants a
choices.
porthole.
Yeah, give the
Right.
peasants a porthole. Exactly. That's
I
what I'm
feel like
saying.
Origin. I feel like Origin aren't like that though. Like they wouldn't just. If we take the 400i for instance, like they, first of all, I feel like they have the attitude like just fuck the peasants. You know, we care about the people who are staying in the ship, not the people who are working there. Um, like a bit imperial in that sense. Um, but if we
Crusaders,
take for
the
instance the
Empire.
400i, the 400i has these kind of porthole-like windows in the sleeping quarters and so on. You know what I'm talking about? They
Yeah,
have
they're
these
not quite
small,
portholes, but they're
yeah, just something in between there. Quite small for being Origin, right? But they're kind of connected to this larger window silhouette, right? Like outside, exterior-wise.
Right.
And I feel like Origin wouldn't plop in some small portholes just randomly sitting throughout the ship. Like they would have to be part of something like a bigger window, exterior looking thing, right? Is what I would think at least. I feel like it's hard to imagine Origin ships with just a small, like tiny portal, because it doesn't feel so luxurious. Maybe.
Yes. Yeah.
So you're
It
saying
speaks to the
Origin is
design of the ship.
compensating, I think. That's
No.
what you're saying.
Origin's overcompensating. Yeah, that's what the
A
400 don't
little
want.
bit. Look at that thing. Look at the nose on that thing. They're compensating.
They're compensating.
So I think other than the aesthetic nature of windows and how they make us feel and to look at the scenery of the game, is there any other purpose that these are possibly serving for us? Is there any maybe game purposes that you can consider that's why CIG would want to put windows in chips?
I mean, for Origin and many other touring ships, right? Like the purpose is obviously for the passengers' sakes. So I guess that's in one way kind of like a gameplay feature, you know, in terms of the passengers' comfort, right? If we ever get you know, passenger missions, which I hope we get pretty soon.
Mhm.
Yeah, hold your breath.
Right.
Or don't hold your
Or
breath, I
don't.
guess.
Don't hold your breath.
Don't, yeah, I'm gonna die soon, yeah. In that case. But otherwise, I mean, sometimes definitely. For instance, in the Star Lancer, we have those like kind of portals in the cockpit, you know, for the two people sitting along the wall there.
I couldn't figure
Like
out how
they
to
get their
open
own.
those.
Oh, really? They're closed. They come closed normally, or
They
like.
were closed in the Starlancer Max,
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's
and
some
I
button there on the.
couldn't figure out. Yeah, I was looking at the consoles like right in front of me, and I'm like, "There's one open." That's just me though.
Yeah,
I'm
that
just
must be a
gonna be
bug. Yeah.
yeah.
But I guess those are windows in one sense, right? Like, and you know, they're kind of like cockpit holes as well for the, you know, So that's a functional aspect as well, that the people that are sitting in the cockpit should all be able to look out, right?
Well, because you mentioned in your video, you land somewhere.
Yeah.
Before you exit your ship, you want to like look out and see, what's going on.
For sure. I mean, both the Star Lancer and the Cutter has this. They have windows by their landing,
Yeah.
their like ramp, right?
By the door, yeah.
So that's definitely one of the most, at least that I could come up with, one of the most important like functions that are not just aesthetic for the ship, But I don't know if you guys can think of something else.
Well, I was just thinking when we were doing the worm mission, Duke, we had those players there, and they're always responding and stuff. We'd be in one of those smaller, like medical spaces, and I saw them running outside through the window, and they're like, "That's an actual game thing because
Yeah.
I can't hit them,
Yeah.
they can't hit me, but I can see them, and so I know like, oh, I'm not gonna like go outside right now, right?"
Yeah.
And I think there's also this thing that there is underutilized, which is what they were talking about earlier with the Aspera, is the one-way glass,
Mhm.
right? If I'm in a ship, why don't I have tinted windows? Because maybe I don't
True.
want you looking in my ship, and I don't want you know that I'm looking at you and this and that.
Very
And if
true.
they get base building coming in, you're going to want to build windows in your base, and if you're doing it, if you're worried about people attacking you, you're going to want one-way windows or one-way glass.
Yeah.
That's true. I
There's
mean, I guess
definitely
I
certain.
feel like. No, sorry, Duke. Sorry, go.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I think some Origin ships do have tinted window. I just think it doesn't work. That's the only thing. It's nothing big. So,
I was gonna say I feel like there's definitely things like that where sometimes CIG falls flat in terms of if you were actually a company designing this vehicle to be used,
yeah,
and you would, I mean, like let's say the cutter, right? Like
yeah,
what it's going to be used for. It's like an all-arounder. Like this person's probably going to do a little box delivery. They might go to dangerous places.
mm,
So we need to have things like the window built in so they can look out and see if it's safe first.
yeah,
But you'd also have things. I mean, I drive around a little Chevy Bolt. It's got a reverse
mm,
camera.
yeah,
Like your ship should be, if you're gonna go somewhere dangerous, you should be able to look into the one of your MFDs and just like look out the back. Let
yeah.
me check and see if somebody's standing there with a boomstick or
True.
something. Just
Yeah,
about to end my day as soon as I lower the ramp.
yeah,
Um, Little things like that sometimes where I'm like, we didn't think this through.
There
yeah.
is a
I feel like
reverse camera in game, Duke.
that's actually
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, there's
yeah,
a button you
but
can
I'm
map.
saying, but I want my immersion. I don't want to just boop. I don't want to go third person and do all that. I want to be
Yeah,
immersed.
that's true. I guess it's not entirely implemented in a good way, but yeah, it's a hard balance, with when it comes to ships, having them be functional, but also like part of the game, right? It's because it is just a game. And it feels like the moment you want it to become too thought out, it becomes kind of unreasonable, right? I had some people in the comments saying this, like first off having windows that are just cameras, and then second, these apparently F-35, the F-35 jets. Yeah, apparently those helmets allow you to look through the entire, like in VR, allow you to look through the body of the airplane, um, which is pretty cool. It's pretty sick. But I feel like, and we probably have that technology in this age, right? In Star Citizen 2955, it's likely that that's a lot more cheap to produce, right? But it would also kind of just ruin the game if you just could look through your entire ship. It's like there's obviously a balance, right, between having a ship that's functional, but also kind of making it reasonable. I don't know. I don't know if, what do you guys think about this? But it is something I've thought about, like when should we pull the line of a ship being functional and not function, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think we're at that point too in terms of the development, right?
Mm,
Yeah. Now we're at the point where everyone's kind of like wanting a game, right?
yeah,
Mhm.
you've done everything. You've built these planets. It looks really cool. Keep chugging away with that. But I want a game now because I'll pop in now. And I was like, I don't really have anything to do,
Yeah.
right? Which is a whole other issue. But it's definitely something that I believe they are considering.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They got to be.
Yeah, I feel like it's a necessary part to just move it forward, in one sense. Even though, it has to be done with care, I think. It's better not to overstep, but also just um it's a matter of priorities, I guess, right? I'm excited now for engineering. I'm glad they kind of reworked that to be more uh, playable. And I'm excited to try it out. I haven't actually got the chance to try it out yet, which is a shame, but
Well,
It's
supposedly
interesting
that's not done
already.
till March,
oh,
according to
okay.
So what we
Okay.
have now is going to be iterated on through the end of
All
March, and
right.
we'll probably get in
Well,
January, February, March,
it's
April,
going to be iterated on until the end of time,
to the end of
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
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 but
So,
it's already delivering some game. It's there.
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. I
Well, we
mean,
got
they've
fire
come
and
so far. I mean, now I sound pessimistic and critical, but I really love this game, and I think they've taken it so far in the past couple of years. And I mean, I'm super happy with the direction they're taking, actually. So yeah, I don't want to sound pessimistic. I don't know, that came off the wrong way, I think, before when I criticized or not criticized, just yeah. But
No, that's okay, dude. You can criticize all you want. They can handle it,
No, you heard it
that's
here
true.
first. Silent Archer hates Star Citizen.
So I hate Star
Yeah, exactly.
Citizen.
That's the title, right?
Yeah.
Why I hate Star Citizen.
Why
That
I
would
hate
actually,
Star
you'd probably get a lot
Citizen.
of clicks, to be
Yeah,
honest.
probably. Yeah, I don't. If only I believed it, right? I
Yeah.
really love it. It's my favorite game of all time. So I couldn't stand for that, unfortunately.
Well, that's why we're here. That's why we're here. And so we're halfway through the show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite up some callers. We got one caller in the waiting room, and we'll invite him up. He's a regular guy, so he'll ask us some questions. But before I do that, I did get a super secret file from CIG recently released, a super secret file all about Windows. So I'm gonna pull that up here. Hold on, I got it.
Fascinated. I'm also a little frightened.
It's a lot
What
of
is this?
pages. Oh, hold on. Oh, it's all blacked out. So
Huh.
weird.
You couldn't
So
let it
weird.
be, huh?
There's no information on here. It's just pages of black. I wonder how much it cost them to do this. Anyway, we're gonna bring up our next guest here. Our next guest, or our first actual caller in, is Cosmic Hobo. He's a regular here. Hey, Cosmic, welcome to Open Comms Radio, your Star Citizen call-in show. I'm Jar Jar Jabroni. Co-host today is Duke Later II, and our very, very special guest, Silent Archer, who you can see on YouTube. Just search Silent Archer, drop the A, and you'll find his channel. Cosmic Hobo, who mentioned Windows?
God, it's so early. Uh,
It is not. It's like
Early.
lunchtime.
Seriously, I'm
it's
on like my
like,
fourth meal already.
wow. Alright, well, it's early for me. Um, Windows, yeah. So, like, one of the first things most people I know for some reason do when looking at a ship is run through it looking for Windows. And I think, like,
As they should.
a, a lot of a lot of things in Star Citizen, Windows they're missing a feature. There's feature debt. There's tech debt. And that feature
Hmm.
is being able to put your face right up against it like a child and looking at it like that.
I like that.
Because
New cheek
I,
smush technology.
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
something
exactly.
about the perspective of how the game is right now. You look out a window, and unless it's a really big window, you don't see very much. You see
Hmm.
very little. But like, I need to get my face up against that so I can look out. Like, use that peripheral vision.
We need some
Maybe
VR testers
VR will
for
help
us.
with
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's just like with VR, I can just slam my head up against the window and just kind of like look, crane it around the left and the right, and
Yeah.
maybe that'll work. But in its current form, Windows, take the Zeus windows,
Oh,
Hmm.
specifically the ones in the galley. there. Something about your distance from the window, even though it's not a terribly small window, just something about the FOV just doesn't work well for that window. Like you
Yeah.
don't see very much.
Mm.
And that's the same
Hmm.
problem with a lot of the windows in the game is they're there. Like you look at the Perseus, you look at the Apollo. The Apollo has a ton of windows. Like it's got a big star roof. I suppose we're calling that.
Ah,
And it's got a lot of windows on the bridge, but like you can't see much out them.
that's very true.
Yeah. And in
It's
the
the
Zeus, in the ES, in the hallway, there's a window looking into the galley where you can also look into the galley and out the exterior window, right? And they mention
Mhm.
that specifically as wanting to give it, to give it kind of more of an explorer vibe, but it's the
Mm.
only window.
Yeah.
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 And it's an explorer ship, so I expected, more windows. I expected like more kind of living space, like maybe individual like rack rooms where you would have windows or portholes in them for people. Um, if you can tell, I was a little disappointed by the Zeus, um, and they're
Yeah.
seemingly like I don't know. It just feels tacked on, right? Like they just put it
Mm.
on here, like they did it in like an afternoon.
The cargo
Mm.
grid is not that much smaller, and it seems very artificially decreased because they didn't change the geometry very much. Like if they change the geometry, if like they give that another, I don't know, 5 feet or something, like pull it in another 5 feet, take up more space of that cargo, that now useless cargo area because they took away like the magnetic plates for a slight change in like geometry, but not enough that it makes sense. So like if they'd made it bigger, I could see, oh yeah, far better. Like if the habitation area had a little more of that cargo grid space, but that would have required a lot of work probably with the geometry and component placement and stuff like that. But it just seems like wasted space so much on the ES because of that.
Mm.
Could have room
Interesting.
for more windows there. Or a sky roof or star roof, whatever, there in the habitation room. Something like that would have been cool.
Yeah. I feel like windows are definitely an afterthought. Um,
Yeah.
and it's another one of those things where if you were a company like designing a real thing to be used by real humans,
Yeah.
they would prioritize Windows more because people need it. I want to
Mhm.
be
I
Jean-Luc
guess.
sitting in my office, sipping my tea and looking out my window.
Okay. Hot.
Yeah.
I also think actually with Windows, one thing with the small windows is that the reflection is very distracting. Um, Even with big windows, it's hard to look out because there's so much reflection, right? You can't look out because you just see the entire room behind you. And I feel like with
Yeah,
the
that does come. Yeah.
Zeus, that's a big part of it as well. Like you try to look out, but you just don't see anything because it's reflecting the entire like white fluorescent light of the kitchen, right? Um, which kind of it's definitely a hard window to look out of, for sure, for many reasons. And they do come as an afterthought with Windows, I think, as well. Um, but
It's
what you were
wild our
saying, you
windows have so much reflection, but our mirrors do not.
right,
That's
right,
true.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's true. What is this
That's weird.
logic?
All right. We do have another caller down in the waiting room, a first-time caller. Uh,
Nice,
maybe the greatest fan of the show here. So I'm going to invite up this next caller to speak
exciting.
here on Open Comms Radio. You just, if you do call into the show, you'll get like a little notification. You just got to accept that notification to bring yourself up onto the caller waiting room. Or up into the show, and then when you do get in here, you just can ask our hosts whatever you think. Hopefully, we're going to keep it on topic today about Windows. But if you haven't been privy
On
to the
topic.
show, you'll know we used to have a pretty cool sponsor here. Isn't that right, Duke?
That is true. Probably the
And I am
best sponsor in the verse.
yeah, easily the best sponsor in the verse. I'm happy to report that we do have our sponsor back. Cruise Lux
Wow,
is back. Yeah, and they
Cruise
actually
Lux is
made
back.
yeah,
Cruise Lux is back.
That's
You heard it
amazing.
here, folks. Cruise Lux is back.
Cruise
where'd it
Luck is
go?
back.
So I'm
Did you have
gonna
to murder Wicket for that and like show proof?
No, turns out they didn't actually care about what Wicket said. He was right all along.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, they just forgot to email us. They had an intern running the ads, and
Damn,
they
I
just
hate when
didn't
that
prepare
happens.
anything for a few weeks, I guess.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but we do have a Cruise Lux ad for us today all about Windows. So before we bring on our next guest, here it is. You hear that tapping? Tap, tap, tap on the windows.
Mm,
You need the energy to look outside. You need to know what's going on. But you couldn't do that without Cruise Lux. Cruise Lux. Give no fucks, Cruise Lux. That's what
That
they
was
gave us.
amazing.
That's great. Yeah,
wonderful.
That was great.
20%
Okay.
playing by
Peak
volume.
contents.
So it looks like our guest did leave us there.
Oh,
Um,
some technical
yeah,
difficulties, maybe.
totally abandoned
had
us.
to go. Yeah.
Yeah. So Archer,
Hello.
your YouTube channel is pretty much always really focused on the aesthetics. I've noticed.
Right. That's
You have a
true.
lot of visual content talking about
Mm.
the scenery and the planets and of course Windows. Would you say is that the thing that kind of brings you here most?
The aesthetics of the game. I mean, yeah, I guess I've always been I've always loved the aesthetics of Star Citizen. All my cinematics and so on uh, are filmed. A lot of cinematics. A lot of just photographing. That's a lot of my time here in Star Citizen. I want to explore. So yeah, the visuals are such a big part for me, and I feel like a lot of people are talking about all the functional stuff, gameplay wise and stuff. But I guess I just want to keep it down to earth, keep it down to talking about the visuals. It's something that feels lackluster in the YouTube community, so I guess I just wanted to focus on that again a bit.
And there are some ships that are not released yet that do incorporate, I think, Windows in a lot of what we're asking for in the show. One of them being, is it the Endeavor? Or
Talking
the
about
one with all the
exploration,
modules?
that
Yeah,
The
is the
the
large
Endeavor,
one,
yeah.
Endeavor.
Oh, yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
do have the, I guess, the farming modules, which is like a big greenhouse dome
Yeah,
that
True.
you can attach to the end of the ship. Yeah.
But if you look
exactly.
at the like general working portions of the ship, it's still just no windows.
Never any
Yeah.
You know
windows.
I'm gonna
something,
pull up an image of that.
while
Yeah,
you're pulling
that's
it
what I
up,
was
Movie.
just
there's
doing.
there was something very related to that recently. Have you all done the survey yet?
No,
There's a
I
new
haven't done
survey?
that. Yeah.
What's
There's a
the
new
survey?
survey out.
What is this one?
It's from CIG directly. I believe it was mentioned in the launcher or in the 4.5 patch release notes somewhere. I
Yeah.
can post the link in the server, but I was essentially asking about like what game loops you think are in a good state.
Hmm.
What game loops are you? This was the most interesting. What game loops are you looking most forward to? And the two that stood out to me that they brought up were people moving. So like transportation, player or NPC player human
Yeah.
transportation, not human trafficking. Um, and farming. They brought up
Mm.
by word farming as a gameplay loop.
Hmm.
I don't think they even brought up science, but they brought up farming.
Well, farming should be probably pretty easily to implement gameplay wise, really.
A billion
I
games
don't know,
out there
dude.
have farming already, but we always
Yeah,
know
but
that the
Yeah.
wheel is something CIG must make more with more fidelity. So they're going to take the wheel, they're gonna
Right.
re-examine it. They're going to take it back to the drawing board. They're going to take that wheel and bring it back to fun, and make it more Fidel Castro along the way.
okay.
So they're reworking farming.
Yeah, they're already reworking farming. Yeah, totally. They
That
got to
is
take back that farming to fun.
Well, they're not reworking it; they're working it.
I know that was the joke.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Oh, aha, ha ha ha. Ha, ha, ha. Here are some of those Endeavor modules they got here. Farming greenhouse modules.
Right.
It is interesting that the farming module has this glass. I get why, because it represents a greenhouse. But
Wait,
if you're
floating.
floating in space, like where's the light for the plants coming
I
from?
was
So it's
just
got
thinking that too. It's like
It's coming from
yeah.
the stars. What do you mean? Whoa, whoa, whoa! You
Starlight.
forget that the star is in space.
Oh, that's
You-
right.
wait, are we
Stars are
playing
in
a
space.
space game?
You technically you'd be getting more solar radiation than you would on a planet.
But that's too much solar radiation.
Right. So I mean, you assume that that glass would probably have special filters. They can probably adjust it depending on how close they are to a star, what kind of star. But remember, Jar Jar, literally everything is in space.
That's true.
Are we
That's a
in
fact.
space?
We are in space. We're all in space right now,
Whoa.
floating around.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
That's deep.
That is deep.
So we do have a lot of passenger ships. I guess not a lot, but a few passenger ships. You have the Genesis Starliner. We already have the Connie, but I suppose they've mentioned doing Connie reworks.
Right.
Hobo, you're the big Connie guy.
Yeah, they've talked about it, but they've said it's not going to be another Mark, so it's not going to be a big rework, unfortunately.
Okay.
Because the Mark system, okay, they kind of screwed up that logic by releasing the Mark IIs for the Hornets, but originally the Mark system was just they had it for the Connie. We're on the Mark IV for the Connie, and that's not just a lore thing. That's how many times they've already like reworked it. So they've talked about it. They're going to do some work on it, but I hope to God at least it's the struts. They'll cut down on the struts a little bit. But other than that, they've not mentioned. And they need to put those cables, like they need to properly install those cables on the bridge. Like loose cables should not be on an RSI ship.
Loose
It's
cables.
not. That is not quality workmanship.
Yeah. Archer, you wanted to say something?
No, I just totally agree. I think the Connie needs a bit of an uplift to kind of match RSI's visual aesthetic nowadays. Like even if it's made in the ancient days, I think it shouldn't look like this. So, in lore, But
The struts are interesting
yeah,
because the older ships do have a lot of struts, and I think they were thinking of like glass panels, right? You're putting the glass panel at a time, and I think as technology has changed. This game started 2012 or
yeah,
kickstarted 2012, now it's
yeah,
2025, and we have 3D printing, and we have I mean, even improvements in like the military use of things like glass and windows, and you do
yeah.
see fewer struts in newer ships.
That's true. But do we, if we take RSI ships, for example, they still have quite a lot of struts,
Yeah, I
right?
mean
I mean, the
the
Zeus, for
Zeus
The
example.
has a
Apollo.
bit.
Look at the
And
I'd
Apollo.
say
even,
it's it's part of their whole design language, though.
yeah, and I quite like the struts, actually. It's kind of an unpopular
Yeah.
opinion, but I kind of like the struts.
I think
Yes.
they're fine on the Connie, except for that one in the very middle. It's just like
Right.
very middle of your screen, and it's just blocking a lot.
That is
If they
true.
just removed that one, honestly, I think I'd be fine with the rest of the struts. It's just that
Yeah.
those two there, that rectangle. And if we're talking
Yeah.
ships with windows, the Phoenix has tons of them. Like
Yeah.
that whole back area is just all
Yeah.
windows. It's a
The
great
Yeah.
the
view.
Phoenix is an example of a ship that it works.
For sure.
Yeah.
It does windows right, for sure. I mean, I love those kind of sideway windows, and yeah, for sure.
It's
Great
the only
windows.
ship where I could say, yeah, it's good. Doesn't need any more windows.
Yeah, that's true, actually. I mean, it really feels like a suitable private jet,
Hmm.
And I love
or a
it.
bit bigger, maybe a bit bigger than a private jet, but
But
That was
I
back
always
when they
get
were. Yeah, go Duke.
no, go ahead.
That was back when they were making ships like as JPEGs, and they were really trying to sell the aesthetics of the ships.
Mm.
Now they're trying to sell like the gameplay of the ships. So if you think about
Mm.
the last exploration ships we got, I think the last explorer ship was the Zeus variant, and that was, we all agree, was a little half-assed.
Yeah.
Before that, it was the 400i, right?
Yeah.
Which was maybe, I think that was still kind of the old way that they were marketing ships, and it was like a JPEG. I remember it was like the ship that came out when I started the game. It was like the first kind of one that they marketed, and that I really felt was like,
Huh.
something interesting. But that ship, also has the windows and maintains that. What do you think going forward in terms of new ships that they're going to release and stuff? Do you think there's a possibility that CIG is going to take, the windows and the visual components of the ships back to that really aesthetic, focusing on the look of it for the player, like we have with the Connie, and making it really fancy? Or are they just going to continue, pushing through this, gameplay centric focus and kind of leave, the aesthetics of the ship in the back? That's
Interesting.
hard.
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like, honestly, if I may disagree slightly, I feel like if we take the
You may
Perseus, for
not.
example,
Kick him
well,
out. Duke.
um, if we take the Perseus, for instance, that's quite a new ship, right? I feel like that's, they've just really improved. I feel like their ship skills have improved if we compare it to ships like, well, I mean, every other old ship. Um, if I do say so myself, maybe I'm a bit far out here, and maybe the windows aren't really up to date, and we need more windows still, but that the ships still kind of do serve this aesthetic purpose. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys disagree with me. Um,
Oh, I think
just
they've
so
definitely
we're on the
improved.
same page.
I think they've certainly improved. The problem is there's a lot of those old ships still around with old design language, with old component layouts is now particularly an issue.
Yeah.
A lot
Mhm.
of those older ships, especially those before like 2020 or so,
My
have,
poor freelancer.
yeah,
Yeah.
very
Such a
poorly
shame.
designed
I was
interiors and component locations.
Yeah.
The
It's a
freelancer
shame.
is one in particular that needs a lot of love because
based on based on the clarification that CIG gave. When I can't remember when that was. I think it was in the Star Citizen Live they did recently. They talked about the difference between when they do a rework or when they do a Mark II, and gold standard and what that all meant. In my head, listening to it, I'm like, all right, I think they will eventually do a freelancer Mark II,
Yeah.
that
because the old
was,
one is, it's serviceable. Like, they don't completely need to gut it, but it definitely needs something new. They need a Mark II.
oh, I disagree. It needs to be gutted.
Well,
It doesn't, the design as it
I
stands just doesn't work.
you know what? You're right. I retract my statement, because when I stopped to actually think about it, because you've got the whole central section, which is unusable,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? You can't use it for the cargo. It's just there. So there you go. CIG, it's official. You do need to do a complete rework on the freelancer. Thank you.
100%.
So,
I may get one then.
Yeah.
Archer, last word. I'm going to bring up our next guest.
Um, yeah, no, just that I would love to see a freelancer in the Starlancer, quality. I mean, I would want nothing less, it'd be so amazing. And that's what I want to say.
Very good. Very good. Well, we're coming up on the end of the show, so this is going to be our last caller for the show, but it's a valuable caller, a very, very good friend of the show here, good participant, Murphy Jack, leader of the Red Scar Nomads. Murphy Jack, who mentioned Windows?
Well, you did. But just real quick, Silent, it's really good to hear you again.
Thank you. You too. So glad hearing you.
I was
Long time.
when Jar Jar messaged me and said you're coming on the show. I was like, oh my god, that's amazing.
I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, your videos kick ass as always. And
Thank you.
Windows, very the thing that the other day, I don't know, it was a couple months ago now. We were in an Apollo and we took it through the jump point and just looking out there as you're going through the jump point and everything, like if we were in a Drake ship, I wouldn't have seen any of that. It was amazing. And
Yeah.
then the tour that we did the other day with the 890, like all the places we were going and everything, it adds so much depth and shows out, and you're able to see all the beauty that they make just by hanging out in the ship, walking around versus being in the cockpit, right? So it's definitely worth it. But then, like you brought up the worm fight, they're also
Yeah.
like gameplay wise needed because we were able to spy on that group to figure out how many they had in that med bay so we could organize and rescue our people.
Yeah.
So it's super important.
I mean, yeah, I totally agree. I love Windows. They really just improve everything, every aspect of the game, honestly. For sure.
They
Yeah,
just
and we
add a
do
lot
have
of feeling. It's cool. It's just the feeling of like walking through like the Idris when running down from a turret, running down the stairs to get in our fighter and launch, and we're running down the stairs looking out the window seeing where we are because we were running
Yeah.
down to the surface to provide backup. We're like, oh
Mm.
look, we're getting close, like go go go. It was just really neat. Just adds so much.
It adds everything. It's
yeah,
that final touch
Raven
that
for
just that's
oh go
go
Archer.
go Jar Jar.
I was just gonna say Ravenfort says in chat, just going into orbit hits differently in a passenger seat with a window.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
It is.
There's nothing else like it.
I
And
mean, just ask yourself a simple question: where do you want to be in a ship in Star Citizen as a passenger? Like when you're jumping through a wormhole or going into orbit, do you want to be standing in some corridor, looking at a gray metal wall, or do you want to be you're going to be up like standing in the cockpit, looking out behind the pilot, or you're going to find a window? That's where you want to be.
Yeah. I mean, it's true, and I mean, I mentioned this in my video actually. It's like kind of a final sub point. One aspect of Windows that make them unlike anything in the game, even compared to cockpits, right, is that they serve a very passive function. You can't control the ship from a window. And just the fact that you can't do that just changes the game. It changes the feeling of standing at a window. It kind of just need to feel, there's something about the immersion, the fact that its point is being observational, that just kind of and the heightens the experience even further than being at the cockpit, for instance. I don't know if any of you can agree with me on that.
Yeah, it's
Certainly.
about the
Totally.
Like,
feels.
there's all these visuals in the game that you're not going to see staring at a hallway or even in a turret. Like, turrets are the backup kind of windows if you're not in a cockpit or there's a ship without a lot of windows, but
Yeah,
they're just not the same. It's not the
truly.
same as like getting ready to go. Like, I look outside of the airlock doors right before we like deploy. And that's
Yeah.
cool, but then sometimes it's like, I can't see much. Let me open it up and like, okay, well then you have an open door on the ship and that's a terrible idea, but you get to see more. And that's the thing. You get to see more. And with a bigger
Yeah.
window, that'd be great.
Yeah, no, totally.
Skeeter says in chat, the more windows you have, the more bigger thrusters you need, which burns more fuel. The more windows you have, the more bigger thrusters you need. He's saying because they're heavier, maybe.
Oh, are they that much heavier? Is that why Drake
I
has no windows?
Well,
I
Jake
believe in
Drake is
lore,
cheap.
yeah, they're very heavy
That's true.
because
They're
they're
cheap.
very thick, and Drake wouldn't. Drake, I will not defend Drake, but they do have those tiny portholes on some of their ships.
I know.
Like,
Why not on the Corsair though? Why not on the Corsair? It's my biggest almost hate object in this game that
Right.
they don't have windows in the Corsair. Who removed the windows of the Corsair?
Because it's an
Yeah.
exploration ship, right? So
It
you're
was
going to
meant
crew it
to have
with
windows.
right. You're crewing it
Yeah,
with
yeah.
explorers, right? People who want to explore, they want to get out there and see stuff. And then what do? You encase them in a huge metal tube or box or oblong, and then just shoot them into space.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That-
No
labeled an
exploring.
exploration ship. It is not. It is a pirate ship. It's just a
Eh, eh,
giant. It's a gunboat. It's a long. It's
that
a
no,
shittier
it,
gunboat because it's
that
Drake.
that's not true.
I mean,
It's
it does
exploration.
It's
provide
entirely true. It's a shitty ship. I'm saying
it
it.
does
I'm
provide
saying it.
motivation to get out and explore the planet when you land. You're like, oh my
'Cause you don't
God,
wanna
let
be
me
on
out
that
of here.
Yeah,
death bar.
right,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Right,
There you
exactly.
go.
That
It's just
flying tomb.
motivation through
So
fear.
it's
Fear.
encouragement,
Yeah. No, but
motivation
what
through
baffles
fear.
me is that they had windows in the concept. It had windows in the concept, and then they're just gone. They had small portals in every kind of room, but now it doesn't have windows, and just baffles me. It disappoints me immeasurably, actually, like unreasonably much.
Do you think that is like there's some like it's more difficult for them because maybe it's like another layer or something, or it adds time to the ship development to put in windows somehow? They have to make, because you can no longer have just the mesh of an object be this flat thing. You have to cut a porthole in it and then cut a piece of glass to put in it or something in terms of developing the game. Do you think that's why we're not getting quite as many, or they're removing them from from the concepts?
I've heard that argument for not having any windows, but I mean, I feel like it can't be that much work. But I will say I'm not experienced in the field of like gaming, like creating a game. So maybe somebody else is more experienced, more qualified to answer this.
Not here.
Not here. All right. Well, then I think it's
Uh,
just a dumb excuse.
I could only
Uh,
imagine there's something involving performance hits for too many windows,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's
Hmm.
I mean, my Phoenix
That's
does fine, and it has
yeah, that's what I
shit
mean.
tons of windows.
There are examples in the game of ships that have plenty of windows, and it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Um,
Totally.
it could be a culling thing, maybe. I don't know. It could just be totally overlooking it. Honestly, I mean, the simplest answer is usually true, I think.
I mean, we recently I had a chance to what do they say? To pull the ear, to grab the ear. I don't
Mhm.
know. I had the ear of a couple of guys at CIG involved with ships, and
Cool.
I told them Windows. We need more
Yeah.
Windows,
Yeah.
and they agreed. They were like, they said it's true. We like Windows too, and
Hey,
one
we
of them
love
promised. He said
windows.
we'll get more Windows. So
Glad to hear that.
if you're listening, and I'm sure you are, you know who you are. I'm waiting for my Windows.
We would love to add more windows. We just have tech debt for windows.
Shut up, hobo.
All right. Well, we're coming on the hour of the show here, and so we are gonna wind it down here. Archer, what we usually do here is we usually go around for the end of the show and we ask everyone the same question.
All right.
We're gonna do that again. We go in reverse order. We're gonna start with Murphy Jack. Murphy Jack, is there anything you'd like to say to Chris Roberts, CIG, or the people on the internet?
The CIG, keep going on the windows, but let's get some tinted windows. To the people on the internet, documents that are all black. I heard you earlier. Documents that are all black are not documents at all.
That was an
Hell yeah,
underrated
dude.
bit, Jar Jar. I gotta give you credit. It was a very underrated bit. I hope we
That's just a way to waste
I
your printer
immediately
ink.
got it, and
did.
I
Thank
want
you.
people to
I'm
hear it.
glad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just whatever. It's not what the show's about, but it's insane, but it's also totally predictable
It's a
and
lack of
fact.
transparency, and that covers windows.
That covers Windows, lack of
Ooh,
transparency.
There
That's
it
Yeah.
smart.
is.
that's smart.
Yeah.
Tied it
Let's
all
redo the
together.
show. We got to redo the whole thing from the top. Cosmic Hobo, anything you want to say to CIG, Chris Roberts, or the people on the internet?
So windows are great, but like global illumination, please, so we can properly use those windows.
What is global illumination there?
So you know how lighting is kind of static and fixed right now with only a few exceptions? That's because lighting is currently just kind of baked in, and we need global illumination to have more dynamic lighting.
So like the light source itself is sending
Yes.
out. Okay.
They showed this off in CitizenCon like 2 years ago now, I
Mhm.
think, is the example would be like a moving light source changing the way the light hits inside of a ship, more
You know
so
how
than it is
like
now.
okay,
Far
so
more
you know
so.
how like in the day in the nighttime you can see into people's houses through their windows
N-
very
Yeah?
very easily, but in daytime
Uh,
Yeah?
just okay, you know, and but in the daytime, depending if it's brighter outside than inside, the window could be wide open, but you really can't see into it.
Yeah, and I'm sure
Is
there's fancy words to explain this, but yes, because
but
that's how
is
light
global
works.
illumination going to like have this effect
I
in
don't know.
theory?
I know what it will do is allow for more dynamic light sources instead of how everything's just sort of static and baked in now.
I guess my question is, can I walk around my hab naked in the daytime?
You could do that anytime.
you can do that anyway.
Like, we don't have windows in most of the habs for most of the planets
Yeah, that's actually a fair point.
and stations. Like,
That's
stations don't have
that
windows
brings
at
me to
all
my
on their
point.
habs.
Oh, what's your point, Duke?
No, I'll wait for my turn.
Okay, okay. Well, you don't get it. Whatever.
I,
All right,
I just
Silent
I don't know if
Archer.
I can get a turn.
It's Silent Archer's turn, Duke. Silent
All
Archer.
right.
Anything you want to say to CIG, Chris Roberts, or the people on the internet?
I mean, to CIG and Chris Roberts, I mean, I guess thank you for making this game. I mean, it's honestly, I may criticize it and so on, but it's such a fantastic, service to humanity, honestly, making this game. And I'm just so grateful for that. And to be able to cover it and make cinematics and stuff is such a gift. But also more Windows, please. So yeah, two-edged sword there. But and then to the people, thank you so much for listening in. And it's an honor that you wanted to hear what we all had to say and that you, yeah, thank you for having me here, basically, I guess, to the people. And yeah, how's that?
You are
Thank you
nowhere
for
near
coming
as
in.
critical as most of our guests. Just is it? Yeah.
Yeah, and if you haven't checked out Silent Archer's video on Windows or all of his other videos, you can check him out on YouTube. And just search Silent Archer, drop the A, SILENTRCHER. Check him out there on YouTube. All his videos are pretty cool. Duke, we did it.
We did it. I still want to say something to CIG though,
Yeah.
which is I want base building soon, right? And when we get those habs, they better have windows. There better be lots
They
of windows. I don't want to be plopping down basically storage boxes with a door on them. I want windows,
Second that. Second that.
right?
All right, let's not threaten CIG though. We have a
I
time
didn't.
limit.
I'm not threatening. I didn't make
Oh,
any
you better,
threats. They better.
All right, Duke, play us out. Da 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 da.